Ciao Juventini, welcome to the AJC. Holy technical difficulties, all right? So trying our best to figure it out. I see the comments in the live chat here. We got Apex saying, Aldo, take it easy. They're smoking in the back. Yeah, the green room sessions, literally the green room sessions. But no, unfortunately, just trying to work out some kinks. I'm not quite sure why and what. Everything is the same as it always has been here, but for whatever reason our software today is not cooperating to the level we desire. And yes, Animesh, I know a lot of lag here. We're gonna hope that it levels out. If not, hey, we might end up having to try something different, okay? I know you guys got slow motion there, okay? Don't worry. Hopefully it cranks back in here. Let's give it a couple minutes here, okay? Absolutely no idea why though. Everything the exact same as always. Boys, you just happen to be the lucky charm. Lucci and Cappuccino.
Welp,
I don't know what to
What can we
say.
say?
at least we can hear you. That's a good thing. Yeah.
Mm, that's important.
Yeah, at least you guys can hear me. The playback is being absolutely brutal, and I have no idea why. I'm so sorry to everybody in the chat here. Oh, man. Unreal. So, RB comps, we have tried literally all of that, okay? The audio is perfect, which is great, so you guys can hear that. The video, unbelievable. There is literally nothing going on in the background either, everybody. So, again, I couldn't tell you what the heck is going on, okay? So, we literally... You guys saw how long this video was delayed for, trying to get it back up and running. It's just, yeah, I can't even explain it. And we've had OBS giving us some issues. I might have to scratch this, okay, because it's starting to piss me off. So we might go back to the good old days, okay? Stop the downloads. There are no downloads, Aldo. Jesus. If anything, it's Lucci. We always know Lucci's cookies there and his cache history are a bit of an issue, okay?
You said my leg was my leg. I didn't have too much leg. Isn't that what you said to me?
That cookie stuff makes me nervous.
Well, we're all good in terms of the audio and stuff like that. I apologize for the video, you guys. Hey, I just honestly, OBS is not doing it for me, so we might end up having to bite the bullet and go back, okay? Tony Trim saying it's getting a bit better. Yeah, OBS is just, it's been hit and miss for us since switching to it, but we had all the kinks worked out. Never had the lag quite to this level, and then, of course, today, here we are. So, again, absolutely nothing going on in the background, but that's the beauty of it. So... Put some pictures of you guys on the screen when you guys call in. There you go. We'll just make it like ESPN or TSN there. Great stuff. Okay, you guys. We do got to get to the business, all right? And we'll see what we got. Again, apologies for the video. We hope that it works itself out, slightly catches up. It seems like on the stats it's getting a little bit better. We'll see. I'll keep trying some things in the background, but we're going to start off with a little bit of the news thing before we get into Bologna. As far as the news goes, we got to touch on Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a guy we don't talk about too much. All right. Had his time here. And Juventini, obviously, with the news that broke out, what he said in his new book, Adrenaline, you start to see where fans stand on Zlatan Ibrahimovic. So everybody in the live chat, where do you stand with Zlatan? Is he a traitor? Is he one of those that you despise because of the move he made, obviously, in 2006? Calciopoli, Barsapoli, as many of us like to call it. Where do you guys stand with Zlatan first off before we get into exactly what he said?
I definitely didn't see that coming. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, yeah,
I knew his opinions on Calciopoli, but because he actually talked about it, and this guy just like writes books, so like this is his third book. So he's talked about it before, But I actually bought this book to read on the plane when I go over. But no, I'm not surprised. But what I can't understand is that, you say that you earned those trophies, but then you went to the team that got the paper trophy. Mm-hmm. So, like, what? That's a great player. Got nothing really against him. But, yeah, that's kind of a shit look, if you ask me.
And Lucci, you were surprised, so you didn't actually know his stance before that?
Yeah, well, like, he hasn't said... I know he mentioned it once, maybe a year or two ago, but I didn't really think he would just go off like that. And listen, I'm not a big Zlatan guy, so this makes him a little better in my books, in my opinion. But does it really matter at the end of the day? Like, it is what it is.
Man,
I don't know.
I just don't.
He just kind of rubs me the wrong way.
With Zlatan, first of all, he's like the ultimate troll. Like, when it comes to trolls, like, nobody beats Zlatan. Even what he just said about Messi is fucking hilarious. But in terms of this and Calciopoli and whatnot, I knew his stance before that because he had alluded to it before, and his titles, obviously our titles, being taken away, going to the team that took them and whatnot. That's why I kind of laughed about it too in my video, because it said you should be very familiar with the fact they're cartonati. So that's why they couldn't accept these paper titles. But everything else he said was spot on. And I never held Zlatan to this traitor status for leaving in 2006. Again, every time that kind of happens, I'm just not really for it because it takes away from how special it was for the guys that did stay. And also it's totally different because if you look at the guys that did stay, and people want to throw Chiellini in there too, but Chiellini was just really starting out, okay? So he wasn't really established he was nowhere established by that means, right? When you look at Ibra, he was young, up and coming and whatnot, and it made sense for him to go. The other thing is we weren't going to keep everybody else. We weren't going to keep everybody around. But if you look at guys like Nedved, Camoranesi, Del Piero and whatnot, even Trez, they're getting closer to the end, right? The one that really was huge was Gigi Buffon because he was literally hitting prime status, labeled the best goalkeeper in the world. Like, that one was shocking. So for Ibra, it wasn't really a big thing for me and whatnot. People were hurt by Zambrotta and whatnot and all this, but it is what it is. A lot of background stories to Zambrotta. They're going to tell you two completely different stories, whether it's coming from Juve or it's coming from Zambrotta himself. But I had no problems with Ibra, and I never really have. But man, ultimate troll there. Didn't Ferguson want Buffon? RB Comps comes in there. All I know is that I give the hardest time to Real Madrid fans who continuously want to tell me Casillas is the best goalkeeper of all time, because I'll tell them, if he in fact is the best goalkeeper of all time, then why on earth did Real Madrid have a blank checkout for Gigi fucking Buffon? Riddle me that. And that usually gets them really fired up, and I love it when they get fired up like that. But Gigi's the best for me. Absolutely RB Comps. Buffon, clear, Casillas. But yeah, the Zlatan thing, he just spoke the truth. It's all good. And it's just interesting to hear where people stand with Zlatan. Talk about a polarizing figure, but I have no beefs with him and never have. Great stuff. And I love it when he puts it at the Chihuahuas, okay? When anybody puts them out at the Chihuahuas. So 38 is the number. And make sure that those fucking Chihuahuas never, ever forget it, okay?
Never forget that.
Beautiful. So thank you, Zlatan, for that little tidbit and dropping that in that book, whatnot. I actually have one of Zlatan's other books somewhere kicking around here, but because I think this is his third. I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Correct.
So there we go. I'll probably be checking that one out. As far as other news goes, we were getting some mixed reports heading into this game about Weah's status. and that's how McKennie would find himself in the lineup. We have since got the man himself, Romeo Agresti, drop in the final lineup, and it's kind of exactly what was expected, other than the ones yesterday saying that McKennie was going to be starting in the midfield ahead of Miretti or Fagioli. We will talk about that. We do have some Mercato news. They still haven't decided on Hans Nicolucci Caviglia and his status and what they're going to do with him. Guys, this for me, if the midfield stays the same with the names they are, you got to keep Caviglia around, right?
Well, you got to keep him or Miretti. I don't think you need to keep both.
You don't
It's
want to
gonna be
keep
one or the
both
other,
around
right?
with our midfielder list. I don't consider McKennie a midfielder, to be
I
honest
don't
with you.
consider McKennie much of a player at all. Like, that's a
Exactly.
different
And then
story.
you have Paul Pogba as another player on your list that you can't bank on his status. So why on earth are we getting rid of Miretti or...
fair. I just don't know. Listen, I would keep both in my honest opinion. I'm just not sure if they're going to get enough playing time for it to be worth them to stay. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm surprised that we're even still talking, that nothing has happened at this point.
I know.
You know, we have a week left in the transfer market, and Hans is still on the team technically, and Miretti is still on the team. But I think what Al's alluding to is that technically McKennie is going to be one of those outfield players.
He's going to be a backup for Way. Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, considering, so who would we have in midfield? We have Hans, we have Miretti, Luca, Pogba, Rabiot.
That's 5. Fagioli 6.
Fagioli.
And did you say Miretti?
Yeah, I said Miretti.
So 6.
Yeah. So 6. You can -1 because I don't think Pogba is going to be really contributing all that much. That's just me.
So 5.5.
So 5.5. 5.5. Yeah, you kind of need a little. Maybe you don't need both, but I mean it allows a little bit of rotation there, even with one or two competitions. You know, anything can happen. Seriously.
Yeah.
So
well, that depends, because we've also seen that Allegri might want to play Ealing Jr. in the middle. So if he does that,
it's like
then you have another guy. They have another body there. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's just like you have.
He's a winger, man.
I agree. You're in really one competition, and you have 6 midfielders for 3 spots. So there's going to be a lot of people on the bench. Unless we're guaranteed to pick up an injury or a suspension at some point. So
at some point,
yeah, that's almost a guarantee. So maybe listen, if
maybe you need the bank players, you know what I mean, like the ones that you just need in those instances. But like you also alluded to, Lucci, playing time. Like, is it going to be worth it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Here's how I kind of see it is, again, so you take your 3 starters, whatever, just take your 3 starters, Rabiot, Locatelli, Fagioli. Paul Pogba, I'm not banking on his health. Whatever we get out of him is great, okay? So don't even count that. Then you got Miretti, okay? Who is playing out, like who's playing when Locatelli does need a break or rest, whatever? It would be Caviglia.
Not Fagioli? I thought that's where Allegri wanted to play him.
Fagioli could do it.
Yeah.
But again, then you're doubling up his minutes. Is he really getting any kind of break or whatever? And I know we say one competition, there's still going to be some rest needed. And there's still going to be some subs that are going to have to play in here.
So then
it's just not making sense to me because McKennie, I don't want McKennie in the midfield whatsoever, to be honest.
I don't want McKennie on this team. So
no, I don't know why he's still on the team, to be honest.
So if I'm looking at all that, for me, Miretti and Caviglia stay. Like I've been saying all Mercato, if you don't have another body coming in here, the minutes might be a thing, but like Luca's gonna need a break, and if that's what you want to do and you want to use Fagioli in there, I'm down with that. That's fine, but Hans can actually do it, and he can do it decently too. And then Fagioli can keep going. Miretti would do good with a loan, and maybe that's the route they're gonna go. Maybe Caviglia will stay, and Miretti will actually be the one loaned out. out of the two.
Because if you look at it position-wise, it would be Fagioli, Pogba, Miretti would kind of be those three for that one spot. But then who's Rabiot's replacement if he picks up an injury or suspension? Like, who's that physical type of box-to-box guy?
Well, that's the nice thing about Caviglia is he can do that too. Like, he's not physical like that, but he can also play in that role, right? Yeah. So you get the versatility.
He doesn't have the body, but he can do it.
With Miretti, he's got to play out of that spot, right?
Yeah.
But it's an interesting call. It's an interesting call. I think Mirko Di Natale literally just came in not that long ago saying that it was on Sule. I thought it might have been Caviglia, but he says the decision on Sule's future is going to be made tomorrow. Lucci's boy, Caio Jorge, hey, that's going to be a decision they're going to have to make too. It looks like he's heading to Frosinone. Sule might be heading there as well.
And you got Enzo already there. Honestly, that's good for team chemistry. All three of them at the same place on loan. I'm good with that. And
they get playing time. That's good for them.
They're not half bad either. It was a big win yesterday for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big win. Oh.
Especially because it was Atalanta, because Gasp forget that guy.
Well, like I said, they come into reality every time they take a break off the juice, right? Because you can't be cranking the whole time. You got to take those breaks. And when they take those breaks,
Yeah.
It's what happens.
It's what happens. A loan for both of them would be very good. Whether they decide to keep Sule long term is probably a different story. But Cal can, I don't know. He's definitely got the skill. He's just got to get that confidence back after that long term injury. So who knows?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But Caio Jorge, Sule set to go, fully expected. We were getting rumors hot and heavy the past week that there was going to still be one more move. I think we can all rest easy. Friday brought us a great tidbit that it looks like the Lukaku thing is just not going to happen, which is fantastic. All right, so happy. That was a happy Friday. Funny enough, Roma, who's I was told Scudetto dark horses. Okay,
they stink.
All right.
Sorry, Ant, use the line.
Scudetto dark horses. Anyways, they are struggling, but Lukaku himself might head there. So whatever, I don't care. As long as it's not with us, I'm good. Okay? So as long as it's not with us, I am good. As far as another player coming in, do you guys believe another player is coming in this Mercato? Does Juventus add one more player? Matt absolutely jacked about the Lukaku news.
Unless they make an outright sale, I don't see anyone coming. Where's the money going to come from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless we sell a body, I don't see us getting a body.
Yeah.
So
unless somehow McKinney gets shipped out ASAP, which I would be okay with. I would love to ship out McKinney, send the other two on loan like we mentioned, and then that might give you some more money to buy a right-sided wingback or something like that. But I don't see it happening. I see Animesh saying Keane. I don't see him going anywhere either, to be honest. I don't think anyone's going to pay the requested 30 or something like that. I don't see that
35.
happening. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we just wrapped it up with 30 million, wrapping up the purchase this summer. So I never could really see that one. The other thing was too is that Juve was sticking to their guns on one more move, and that's whether you're looking at Kostic, if you're looking at Keane or whatnot, they want outright. Yeah. So that obviously will take a lot of teams out of the mix for making the pickup. So is what it is, right?
I'm good
Apex,
with the
I'm kind of with Apex. I'm not so sure I see any moves happening other than some loans for some of the guys heading out that we were expecting to go out. And I'm with you, Joe, because I heard you in there while Lucci was going there. I'm fine with this team remaining as is.
Mm-hmm.
And
totally fine with it.
I think this roster, like, all we were hearing going into this before the Mercato is that, Max needs his guys. He needs certain players. This roster needs to pick up tremendously if we are going to do damage, if we are going to actually chase a Scudetto. And there were Allegri fans saying, don't expect it with this roster. And I said, bullshit. I was calling bullshit the entire time. I'm not buying it. This team, okay, I think should be in the mix. If we are talking about one competition, this team should very much be in the mix the whole way through. From what I'm seeing, in a couple games out of some of these other teams that everybody had high hopes for, what's going to happen to these teams once they get spread into those other competitions?
Champions Leagues, yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Juve's going to have to take advantage. It will always come down to us, though. And for me, I'm not buying into this roster not being good enough to be in this race the whole way through the season. I'm fine with this team. I think it's good. I think it's got a good mix, good blend. I think he's got options in terms of players and personnel available to him. And I think Max, I'm actually expecting us, exactly as I predicted, to be in that mix the whole way through and turn some heads and surprise people, because everybody put us, again, top 4 side. And I said we are closer to favorites than we are top 4. And I truly do believe that. And I think this team's going to do some damage. So I'm not buying into any excuses. This year, no excuses. No excuses. Berardi wants us so bad, he'll need to drive himself here and pay his own wages. Berardi. So the Dionisi thing was interesting yesterday because obviously Berardi returned to training for Sassuolo, but again, it's just not going to happen if we don't see any types of outgoing moves, right, boys? So I'm just not expecting it.
I don't. I didn't really want him to begin with. It's like we said, he's nearing 30. They wanted, what was it, like 20 million, 30 million for this guy? Forget it, man. We're better off spending our money elsewhere and getting players we actually need, like a right full back. We could probably use some center back depth as well, but I think that'll be next year when we get back into hopefully Champions League and have some money incoming.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Isn't Illing also on the table? I think that was a poll that we had earlier this past week because there were a bunch of rumors about a potential move for him. I don't want to sell him. I would much rather sell Kostic than Illing. But the one thing I will say, I agree with Davide in the chat that I would love a home on a loan to buy. But again, unless one of those moves goes through, I just don't see it happening. And this is the final week, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll see. Anything can happen.
Yeah. That's what it comes down to the wire, and Illing Jr. should definitely not be going anywhere. Like, that would be a damn shame. Don't want him to go
anywhere.
So
lots of talent there.
A ton of talent. So it'd be brutal to see Illing Jr. end up going somewhere. Hopefully not. But again, I don't see it. I just don't see it. Same reason we go back to those other moves is outright. Even with Illing Jr., Juve was talking about outright moves. That's just not going to amount to much. So, again, that bodes well for all of us. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, the business at hand is Bologna today. Okay? So, second game up, home game. Okay? And I want to shine a light on something that our friend Maurizio is involved in, obviously from around Turin. And this was great, and it's a great thought, a great idea that they're trying to do in order to just kind of make things a bit better for atmosphere at the stadium, since what's going on is obviously the Ultras and Juventus still have not found any type of solution, right? So what's going on is they've started a bandiera bianconera, okay? And that is, there are some content creators through Instagram and everything that are involved and whatnot. And it's just something so simple, but the maximum size that they're allowing them to bring flags in, okay? They're simply asking Juventini that are going to the stadium to create their own black and white flags, design them as you wish, and bring them in. They are small. Yes, they are small. But it's something small that, again, maybe shines a light and shows the club what they need to do. in order to start making things right. So maybe it's a little more symbolic to them that we want things corrected. But that is something that begins today, which I think is a great initiative. And I just want to say props to Maurizio being involved in that one. I don't know if he's the one that spearheaded it, but whoever did, it's great. Let's keep it going, okay? We do got to get to the stash here, Joe, because Alex P is asking, is this a tribute to Bonucci or something? What's going on with this? Is it just, I don't even know now. Like, do you have a collection of bathrobes or something? Like, what goes along with having a mustache like this? Like, what are you changing everything here?
Yeah, it's just the look now, man. It's just the look.
So this is to stay.
No tribute to Bonucci. This is to stay, yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. No tribute to Bonucci. Okay. Could be Ron Jeremy. We don't know. He's tributing somebody.
That's
okay.
an answer, Alex.
Now, let's go. Tony Trim saying anything that will help bring the Fortress back. Hopefully we do this. Okay. Hopefully we do this. But we'll see what happens. And yes, we did see Ultras chanting for Max Allegri. Look, you got to chant, do whatever the hell you can. He's here. Back him. I will always say this, regardless of opinions. And we had a terrible scenario take place in our comment section where, look, I kept repeating, we don't have to agree on everything, but respect has to be maintained for not just anyone on the panel here, but like yourselves. So I had a major problem with what was going on, and for me, I could care less about the fucking numbers and the views or anything like that, because we always like strive for one thing in the community, and that's regardless on where you stand on any players, any coaches, whatever, because ultimately it doesn't really matter. And when I get called out on the Max Allegri thing, I simply say this, okay? I support Juventus, okay? The players and coaches fucking go, and they change rapidly at times, okay? But again, it was an ugly situation, and I won't stand, and I took it too long, and I gave warnings out there, okay? And I took it because most of it was directed at me, but as soon as I saw him coming after certain people in the community through comments, I issued a ban. And it sucks because we have Merda supporters, we have Milan supporters, we have Roma supporters, Lazio supporters that show respect to our community. And the saddest part about this whole fucking thing was it was a Juventino, okay? But I will not tolerate this community having that toxicity there, okay? I expect all of you to be able to comment on any and all videos and not have to worry about that shit, okay? So it had to happen, and it sucks, but there you go. And unfortunately for you, XP, no, it was not Dells, okay? So Dells is good to go. Dells is one of our favorite shit disturbers with questions and everything like that. So there we go. There we go. Now, the game. We speak about Max. We speak about the Ultras chanting for him and everything, okay? And here we go. So as far as Bologna goes, today, you've got teams on opposite sides of the spectrum here, okay? So you have Juventus with a coach that's got a ton of pressure on him into this season. Max is always going to deflect, as he does, because he wants to keep everything level throughout, and that's how he manages his seasons, okay? So we know what to expect from Max, but he is under a lot of pressure, okay? As far as even we talk about Motta, it's different with Bologna. They finished around 9th. They're looking for, 3 to 4 more wins this season that actually gets them, based on last year, standing somewhere in top 6. That's what they're actually pushing for. And you could say that's a lofty goal or whatnot, but if they can maintain and improve themselves a bit from last season, it's something that could happen. Obviously, their starting game didn't go the way as planned, losing 2-0 to Milan. However, if you watch that game, Bologna wasn't bad by any means. And for the most part, was right there with them. Could have ended up doing some more damage in that one. So you got teams on opposite side of the spectrums. Bologna is going to be missing Berro, which is big for them and whatnot. I did expect this, and this is what I've kind of seen might happen. Mota played a little bit differently against Milan. I don't expect it against us because I said if you think he's not going to be planning for Cambiaso and what Juventus did against Udinese, you would be wrong. Okay? So he's going to be going with a more flat midfield. He kind of went 4-1-3-2 against Milan. What we're expecting now is kind of like a 4-2-3-1, and then defensively they're going to just shell out into this 4-5-1. And that's a good move from him. And I totally expected it. Said, hey, and if you think he's going to let Cambiaso run wild like Udinese did, I don't think that's the case. So I'm expecting somebody else for Juventus to have to come up big, to have to get going with it, okay? And it might be Weah. And we were hearing about a knock there went up, but we might have to mix it up and get that other side going, okay? Their probable lineup, Sharupski obviously in goal, Posh, Bukema, Lakami, Liko Yanis, Moro, Dominguez, Orsolini getting the start, Ferguson, who could do some damage. Then you got Abisher and Xerxes. So 4-2-3-1. For us, man, Max got a healthy bunch. Only guy out, who? Lord DeShilio. That's it.
Tech. Isn't Tech missing?
Tech got
Tech
knocked. He's got to
injury.
miss this one. But it's almost not even really like an injury. Like he's supposed to literally just miss this game. So I'm not really counting. But okay, let's get their technicalities here. You guys want to pick out? Okay, that's fine.
Hey, man. Sorry.
Very, very familiar to what we saw against Udinese. Romeo Gresti coming in here. And what do we got? Perin obviously starting for Tech, like you guys mentioned. The three Brazilians make up our three center backs. No surprise to anybody. Okay? You've got Weah, Fagioli, Locatelli, Rabiot, Cambiaso across the middle. Beautiful. Beautiful. Chiesa and Vlahovic to continue the revenge tour up top. Joe, there's a little bit of glare, man. Can you?
No, I'm amazed by the pun by Aldo in the comments.
Technicalities. Love it. Nice.
God.
Nice. There you go. All right, guys, we got the lineups. Okay, see where we're at. How we feeling going into this one? We're not going to dive into the predictions just yet. Okay, we're not far off, and then we're going to have a nice Storm the Barn session. But, man, that's as strong a lineup as you can place right now outside of probably starting Paul Pogba, because I still say he's the best midfielder we have when he's in there. We can't have any problems with the lineup, even if we want to see Gatti or whatever. That's our strongest.
It should be a fully capable lineup. That's all I know. Like, like Al, you mentioned before the Bologna when they played Milan on Monday. They had their chances. Ferguson, I think it was Abishir or whatever. They looked dangerous. Orsolini came on at half. He caused Milan some trouble. So like they got some capable players. But listen, I know it's only game 2, but this is a must win. I don't want to hear anything otherwise.
Oh yeah,
They're all must wins, right?
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, these are must wins. Make no mistake about it. It's the big ones that are going to be those toss ups. And going back to what we were talking about earlier, when people were saying don't expect a challenge with this team or whatnot, that again, one of the reasons I say absolutely not is. If you look at where we finished last season, sul campo with the points, I keep saying this all the time. We don't need a huge boost to improve that. That puts us even closer to that title race. We dropped games we had no business dropping last season. You clean that up, those big games, they're not as important if you get the ones you have to done and over the finish line, right? So again, I'm expecting a strong Juventus today, and just to continue this revenge tour, and I'm here for it. And everybody, my God, do I have the receipts? Okay, but Vlahovic, Chiesa, like I said, we got to pick kind of a player to watch. And despite hearing about the knock or everything, I'm going to say we're going to have to mix it up, and I'm looking Weah's way. So I'm going to say my player to watch is not necessarily a player, but players, and that's going to be the right side with Fagioli and Weah, because I think we're going to have to mix it up. Cambiaso's still going to have to play his part, but I think Weah and Fagioli are going to have to kind of have that balance in order to cause Bologna some problems. Who do you guys want to make an early call for on players to watch heading into this one?
Joe, you want to go ahead?
I mean, I would say I agree with. I'm not going to take your take out. That's a great take. I would say I'm going to be watching more Dusan. Last game, he was, he got a few touches on the ball. It wasn't an outrageous amount, but he looked a lot more comfortable in the final third than I had seen him all last season with Juve. So I'm just looking, I guess I'm more looking for, his movement and stuff this game. That's what I'm going to be watching at least.
All right. Lucci.
Okay. Al, I liked your shout, but I'm going to go with Mr. Fede Chiesa. This revenge tour, I think it's going to get really hot this year. I think he's going to do some damage. The way he played last week with Cambiaso was great, and I think we're going to see some more of that. Maybe not as much as we did last week, but I'm sure we'll still see some more of that today. And I'm hoping he can bag one for my Fanta Calcio team too. Maybe even two would be even better.
Oh, I got him in there. I actually viced up Pulisic yesterday, and that worked out nicely for me. So, I went to...
Dang.
I should change my team name to Mr. Tinker Train, though, because, God, I love to change things around so much. And, oh, man, but it's working out so far. But we'll see what the top 10, we'll see if we can shake things up with the top 10. I think our main goal should remain the same across the panel. Get Luca fucking Natale out of the lead amongst the AJC panel. Epic failure. Week one there.
Unreal.
Unacceptable.
All right. Epic failure there to have Luca in the lead here. But we'll see what happens. Lag. Some people are talking the lag might got a little bit better. Guys, I'm trying stuff in the background while we're working here. It's frustrating, but I am going to do some work and research right after this. This hasn't been this big a problem since, but thanks everybody for toughing it out. Okay, apologize. We do have a watch along today for game day, and that's why I'll be hard at work after to try and sort this out so it doesn't happen for the watch along. So see what happens. I still blame Lucci and Cappuccino. I think it's their cash there, so we'll see what's up. Now, I think we got to get into this. I think it's time to get into some predictions, and then we're going to get into the Storm the Barn session, all right? So, guys, we're all expecting the same thing. I think we're going to know, where everybody stands as far as score lines. There's already people in the chat dropping Calcio Reno 4-0. We got some 3-0s out there, okay?
Wow.
And we'll see what happens. Bepe's coming in here with a surprise, saying he would surprise everyone and actually play Cambiaso on the right with Kostic on the left. Chiesa slightly starting on the right side in 3-5-2. All right. Yeah. Could surprise. I mean, what's funny is yesterday when we were getting our lineups, and even the day before, I said Max is always going to be good for a couple changes here and there, or whatever, some surprises or whatever. So I wouldn't rule anything out. But right now, looks like Agresti's got our starting lineup. It's going to be pretty much bang on with what we saw against Udinese, except Fagioli enters the mix. And I'm expecting a solid game out of him too. One thing I want to see out of Fagioli is him getting more scenarios. I talked about this last game. More scenarios like Miretti does in terms of breaking the lines and starting to run at defenses and whatnot, and kind of try to be that advancing player out of the middle, because Rabiot and Locatelli almost based it up, and it was great. And Rabiot, to his credit, still got involved up the pitch while still basing things up with Locatelli. It was brilliant. More of that, please. Predictions, holy smokes, nobody's wasting any time in this chat. RB
Fast and
Comps,
Furious.
3-1. Jeremiah, 4-1. Dushan, Chiesa, and Weah. There you go. Apex expecting 2-1. Acids dropping a 3-0. Dom B going with 3-1 as well.
Jeez.
Tony Trim coming in with the 4-1. Chiesa, Vlahovic, Fagioli, and Pogba. Wow. Bologna goal from Orsolini for Fantacalcio. There you go. We got the Fantacalcio mixed into the predictions too. 2-0, 3-1, 4-0. There you go. Just an absolute throttling. There you go. Beppe with the 3-1. The third from Monsieur Paul. There you go. Marcella with 3-0. Love it. 4-2, 2-0. Okay, so I haven't even seen a draw called. Okay, this is wins straight across the board. Let's rock it. It's time for us to put our money where our mouth is. Prediction time. Final score, 2 tiebreakers. Lucci, you're up.
I'll say 2-0 Juve. I'll give. I'm gonna say 60% possession.
Okay.
And a goal from my boy to watch, Mr. Chiesa.
All right. Joey Cap.
Me? First off, shout out to Marcella. She's been awesome at setting up Empire State stuff. So, grazie, Marcella. And she has way on the score sheet, so I like that. Local New York guy. Anyway, so 2-1. I'm going to be happy with that. Dusan scores. And first yellow card will be Bologna in the 30th minute.
Okay. Sorry, it was 2-0?
2-1.
2-1. No clean sheet for Perrin? Joey.
No, not. I'm just saying.
Okay. Ah, man, you guys got my scoreline. I might have to differentiate just to try and give myself a break here. A little bit of an edge, a slight edge. Because I was going to go 2-0. I shouldn't have let Lucci go first. I'm sticking 2-0. For my tiebreaker, though, I'm going to say we get... I don't see us getting a PK in this one, but we will get a set piece goal. There will be a set piece goal from a defender in this game for Juve, okay? So set piece, goal, raised it by saying defender, okay? And we get a goal from somebody that comes in as a sub, okay? There we go. Wow. So I'm actually changing it. 3. I'm going to go 3-0. 3-0, set piece goal from a defender, and a substitute scores for Juve. Okay?
Interesting. Very interesting.
You like that, eh? You like that?
It's definitely something
You like
different.
that?
Yeah.
There you go.
I respect it.
Respect. Speaking of the fan clubs, okay, as Joe alluded to, Marcella, we are obviously partnered up with the official fan clubs of North America. There is a ton of great fan clubs out there. Thank you to everybody who's been reaching out and wants to be put in touch. If you do want to be put in touch with those clubs, I can help you out. We have 2 new clubs in Florida, okay, that are fantastic. All right, and great people. One of them run by Felix Botonat, who's been... He's been on one of our shows here. He's been trying to get back for a while. Hasn't been able to make it work, but he's a great guy. Part of Juve official fan club Central Florida. We have South Florida as a new fan club. In Canada, we are looking to add another fan club, but we, of course, have Vancouver, Toronto. There's a ton of them all over there. We know the lads in Hollywood. Okay, Baltimore. Baltimore is actually having an Unreal watch party because it's partnered up with a fundraiser that they're having down there for a good cause. So it's not only a watch party, it's a bocce tournament at the same time. Like, absolutely amazing. I'm like, man, awesome. I would be all over that. Okay. watch Juve play, win a bocce tournament because I'm absolutely unstoppable at that game. All right, grew up with a damn bocce ball in my hand. Now, all right, storm the barn. They're not wasting any time. Anyways, we love the official fan clubs and all the work they put in. Let's show some love. If you want to find one near you, reach out. Okay, Jeremiah, with our first storm the barn question. Who is the best candidate to partner up with Bremer in central defense? Well, are we talking shift into a 4-man, Jeremiah, or are you just talking right now? Because, I mean, we all know right now it's fine as it is, and Gatti coming in is no problems. But if you're talking breaking everything up and making it just a 2-man pairing, I actually kind of don't like anybody around to do. Well, I'll tell you why. I'll kind of explain why. Because
I get it.
If you're looking at a 2-man pairing, for me, it has to make sense. You always have to have yin with the yang, right? So Bremer's that physical guy that can push up, that can push guys back when we're trying to pin them in the. But when you have a guy like that, you always need that guy that's the cleanup guy behind him that kind of orchestrates everything. Because Bremer's not an orchestrator for me at the back.
No.
He's not that guy.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So if I'm looking at our roster and I want to pick a cleanup guy, an orchestrator, I've never seen it from Rugani. Rugani's been solid over these past 2 years as backup, as coming in. Could he step in now as he's polished up his game and start to orchestrate and call? I don't see it out of him. Houston's fantastic. He could probably do it in 7 or 8 years. You know, be that orchestrator, maybe 23. Okay, maybe 23, whatever. But Danilo in a 2-man pairing? No. And that's why I say it. So I don't want to be, you guys kind of laugh or whatever, but I'm not trying to be negative in any way, but I just don't think we have that guy right now to do this 4-man thing. Gatti is the same for me. He needs that cleanup guy with him because Gatti plays a certain brand. I love Bremer and Gatti's brand.
He pushes forward, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think you need that orchestrator with them if it makes sense. So that's why I say I don't think we have them now. That's all. Mm-hmm. What do you guys have to add? Do you guys feel the same way? Do you feel differently?
In a back 4, I agree. If it was a back 3, if we're continuing with the back 3, I would say Danilo's probably the one that's most polished, probably the best one on the ball. But I'm not trusting him in a back 4. Sandro, same with Sandro. Like you mentioned, Gatti's similar. I see the way Gatti plays similar to Bremer. Yeah. So I don't. And Alex P with the suggestion about playing Luca at CB. Why? No.
Because he can. I don't know.
No, can he though? He's never played there before.
Because I remember there was a point.
I think he can.
Where he was kind of like dropping back and kind of occupying that defensive role.
I ultimately wouldn't either.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But he could do it.
I
mean, and we've seen guys, defensive midfielders with great technical ability do that in certain circumstances, like Daniele De Rossi did it a bunch and whatnot. And I don't think it's a stretch to say, by any means, to say Luca could do it. I just don't want him to, but
I mean, if we had enough coverage in his position where it would be something to try out, sure, but I wouldn't. At this stage, no chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just don't have that complimentary guy for Bremer for a back 4 currently. So
I would love to see Houston get some minutes today. Also because that would mean again we've killed off the opponents and gotten her through the line. So let's kill the opponents again. But didn't we try this a few times with Emre Can? Yeah, we did. Mm-hmm. We did try. I think his best game for Juve came in that role against. He did it in a Champions League game. I'm pretty sure.
I think it was Atletico Madrid.
It was the Atletico game, wasn't it? When we turned the tides there, yeah, it was a big switch up there. As far as Dusan dropping back to a center back. Let's not give the Mr. ideas, RB. Okay, come on, take it easy. We know he tunes in here all the time, and we don't want to give him ideas. So, come on, let's take it easy here. Okay, let's take it easy. Now, Storm the Barn. We'll keep them going. Keep your questions coming in here, everybody. We've got through the game. Like I said, Bologna is going to come after this one. Like I said, they've got some lofty ambitions. And for Juve, it's the pressure of just a solid start and keep staying around the top there. We've got this one and then Empoli, and then it's an international break. All right. And international break, I would not be offended if they chose none as far as our players to go on it. Let's just try and go through a season relatively healthy and do fine. But do you guys have any questions before we get to the next one that's come in here? Is there anything we haven't talked about that you guys want to? Any questions you guys have had? Anything that's been bothering you as far as takes go out there? Anything from the rivals?
It's still early in the season.
Yeah.
We got 1 week left of the transfer market. I still think anything can happen. So I'm just hoping that I'm hoping that one of two things happens. Either we make a sale for a guy that we all can unanimously agree that we want to sell, like Kostic. And
they're going to say McKennie.
Or McKennie. One of those.
I have no problems, honestly, again, the team staying the same. Kostic, I would sacrifice. Yeah. I'd be okay sacrificing, but
100%.
Man,
100%.
It's still solid to have him in behind like these guys. And like I said, the flexibility of being able to move Cambiaso to the right is another reason why I just don't see McKennie getting minutes that really affect anything, to be honest. I just don't see it. Joe, is there something we need to talk about? Because like when you said that, you were looking off into the distance and it was like, man, we got one more week of this Mercato. Anything can happen. It looks like you're expecting a phone call from Juve or something. Like maybe you're going to get called up. Like you were in deep thought there. You're staring off into this. That I felt that coming from you. Like, man, you're expecting the call, aren't you? Anything can happen, bro. The mustache might be the deal breaker though, because Ian Rush hasn't played for Juve in a long time, and that's kind of the vibe you're playing on.
No, I mean, it's just the last week of the transfer window can result in some crazy stuff. I mean, that's just what I've come to expect. So I know you have to like emotionally prepare for anything that can happen, but that's just, I guess it could just be me.
Juve calls up Joey Caps from Agresti. There you go. Breaking it right there. Listen, we didn't get your guys' take on the Mercato. We talked a bit about myself, Ant, and Omer on the last one. But if things finalize as it is, what would be your score out of 10 for the Mercato? Just your individual thoughts.
Joe, you want to go?
Sure. I mean, I expected a quiet transfer market just based on everything that happened the last season. So, I mean, keeping that in context, I'd give us a 7. We held on to the big names, and we got in a couple of up and comers. So, no problems. Seems to be pretty standard. It was good.
Yeah. Lucci.
That's reasonable, but I want to be different from Joe, so I'm going to say a 6. We got McKennie still kicking around. We got Bonucci still kicking around, who we're probably going to have to pay to get rid of, which is not great. And obviously that's nothing we can do about that. We did manage to keep so far the big guys, which is probably huge in the long run, especially if we can get Chiesa to re-sign at some point soon. And I like the fact that we kept Cambiaso, we brought in Way. So like those are 2 potential, stars maybe in a year or two. So good, but not great. Decent, but not great.
I think, and 6.5 to 7 was my score. And the big one was we didn't see any of our big guys leave. Bremer, Vlahovic, Chiesa. That's absolutely massive. I agree. It sucks that you couldn't get rid of all the guys you would have liked to as far as dead weight, right?
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, we got some big ones gone. Okay, the Kulishevsky sale. Obviously, seeing Zakaria, the numbers weren't the greatest. We had to sacrifice Rovella. in a deal that the numbers are very one-sided. We take all the risk, but at the end of the day, if we're looking at this Mercato, Juve has come extremely close to balancing out this Mercato at an even zero. There's still like 18 mil that they're away from in doing so. But that's actually better than I thought, and I didn't think you'd get that close while keeping those big guns.
Yeah.
So I actually think that's it's a very, very positive Mercato for Juventus, if you ask me. So I think it's good there. We're gonna get to the next Storm the Barn, and it's coming in here from Tony Trim here. Over under 10 minutes for Paul Pogba. I say over today. Well, hey, I got to keep even with my bet with old Noni's there, saying that De Sciglio is going to get more minutes than Pogba this season. That guy just loves to lose bets. Pogba is going to be over 10 today. I'm going to say over 10.
I think that's accurate.
Yeah, 10's low.
We'll say over 10.
10's pretty low. I think it's going to be over.
I'll say over 10.
Over.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, just barely, but over. I'd say closer to 15.
Right,
maybe 15. 12, maybe.
He just hits 11, and then that's it.
He needs an extra minute amount of time.
1 second. All right?
Yeah, that's all you need.
That's all I need, man. Inch or mile, doesn't matter. Okay? All good. RB Comp saying, actually quite sad it didn't work out for Kulu and Zakaria. I actually really like them. Kulishevsky frustrated the hell out of me because you know there's a player there. And we just we just couldn't figure it out at all, and it just wasn't working. He didn't seem comfortable. Like, it just didn't work. And sometimes that happens. And when we talk about transfers and everything like that and players, like, yeah, we have our preference. We have guys, it's like let's just talk about this for a second, okay? Because none of us want Lukaku. None of us on this panel wanted Lukaku, okay? Mm-hmm. But do you think it would have worked if he came in? I actually do think he would have been effective in this system and setup. I actually truly do, but I just, for so many reasons, don't want him because he's got this drama and shit that follows him, and he can be lazy. He was doing weird shit with the locker room at Mercato last season. It's just like, I just didn't want to be associated. But from a performance point of view, it would have made sense and whatnot. And it's one of these things with players. Kulishevsky, just going to Kulishevsky, just because it doesn't work out at one place, we write so many players off and just be like, no, we shouldn't be picking up this guy. We shouldn't be grabbing this guy, whatnot. But you just never really know till you get these guys in. And I think Milik was another example of that as well. That ridiculed by more than half the fan base and came in and
I'm guilty.
And did a good job. A strong job. Mm-hmm. Overall, I mean, towards the second half, faded, as did quite a few guys. But overall, did a good job for a guy coming in as backup. And a lot of the time, he was the guy we were asking for out there based on what the other guys were doing. Mm-hmm. So it just goes to show you, like, it's never really a write-off at any moment in time, right?
Yeah, well said, Al. Yeah, it's never as cut and dry as it kind of seems. But just on sheer principle, I didn't want Lukaku on this team.
I mean,
he's a bum.
It's the financials too that come with it. It just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I was reading stuff. I think Al, you even shared it. It was like technically the financials would have worked out in our favor had that happened.
Yeah.
But still, even no, hard no.
Yeah. Because you would have had growth decree, and obviously we would have been moving another big piece, so the salary would have ended up being less and whatnot. But ultimately, yeah, we didn't want it. But
older.
Paredes was pretty cut and dry, though. You're right. Yeah, there are always those ones where I didn't want him, and he proved me right. Zakaria was a weird one. Came in, and we decided very, very quickly he just was not the guy. That was always a weird one, but it is what it is, all right? It can go both ways. Sometimes you're right, and it's just stay away, and then he comes, and it's shit. And then sometimes they come in and surprise you. But ultimately, we all rejoiced Friday when we heard the news that no Lukaku coming in, okay? We do have time for some more Storm the Barns. Again, reminder, I'm going to be doing the live watch along, all right? The lag appeared to have corrected itself for the most part. It just took a while. So I did try some things in the background. I think I know what was up. Okay, so I'll take the heat, everybody. Okay.
As you should.
It's like Ant trying to like start a run. He just needs to get the knees warmed up, and then he's able to do it.
No, he'll be out of commission for 4 days after that.
Aw, easy on old no
It's
knees
catching
there.
stray. Sorry, Ant.
I think Ant had
He'd do the same thing if he was on here. Let's be serious.
He's
no saint.
It totally would. I think he had a rough Saturday. Did his NFL fantasy draft or whatnot. So see what happens. See what happens with old no knees. I don't think he's going to be making the post match pod tomorrow either. He's probably going to need freaking week or something, at that age to try and recover. Yeah, he's probably crushing those chips. You guys heard about that, eh? What it's going to take for this guy to leave this show? Lifetime supply of chips. That's all it takes for this freaking guy. So
that's a weird request, but okay.
Bum knee and obsessed with potato chips. Anthony Scanga, the one and only. The one and
He's
only.
going places, that guy.
All right, guys. So, again, no Storm the Barns here. Are you the too much Sugo this weekend? That's gold. That is absolute gold. Man, keep the Anthony rips going. Everybody, the first jersey giveaway out of the 10 is today. We pick a winner. We partnered up with Premium Soccer. Okay, they're out of Quebec there. And I doubled it up because they were only doing, obviously, because they only ship in Canada and whatnot. And I said, we're going to open it up to everybody. If a winner is located outside of Canada, what we will do is if that winner has a friend in Canada, okay, that's also a subscriber and supporter of the AJC, they can choose said person to win the kit. If not, we would be more than happy to choose a winner from Canada, but you are still eligible to win no matter where you're from. So I doubled it up. So the one jersey giveaway turns into potentially 2. And the winner will be chosen later on today. And it'll be announced on our socials on Twitter and Instagram and everything like that. So keep tabs on that one. And then pending after this, there's still 8 more jerseys to go. Fuck me, that bet really destroyed me. Okay, so we got 10 kits. Now, furthermore, I did make a wager with our friend from the official fan club in Toronto, and that is John Groh, the president there, head of all of North America. And he told me that Max Allegri was going to come into the season playing a certain way in terms of setup. And we have not seen that. So, Johnny, you got to ante up, and he's going to put on some prizes from fandomculture.ca, okay? So that's all going to be coming out pretty quick as well. And I'm working with another sponsor, okay, to get some more gifts and giveaways, and that's going to be some of these awesome jersey displays you see behind me from our friends at Display Pro Shop, okay? Awesome stuff. So we keep showing some love, and we just thank you for all the support, all right? So couple hours we have until game time, around 2.5. I'm going to be doing the watch along, all right? I'm going to be probably spending that 2.5 hours figuring what the hell is wrong with this goddamn software, okay? But nonetheless, we're going to rock it. We're going to have a good time and hopefully celebrate some goals and celebrate another victory, all right? Joey Cap, Mr. Lucci, anything in closing?
Since Mr. Yildiz got a haircut, is he going to feature today?
Hey.
Nice haircut, though. Didn't go for the Sule prison buzz, which I like.
Fresh fade. Very nice. He's got nice hair at the top, so he faded it nice. He did a good job.
Did a good job.
Are we going to have a hair counter, like how many times he touches his hair?
So
I think he's going to avoid it now, just so Allegri doesn't give him shit for it.
Probably.
You know, we were talking about young guys in minutes earlier and stuff. Do you think for sure these guys stay around all season with the first team?
I guess so. Who else would take their spots at this point? Unless some players are coming in.
But we were talking about minutes and stuff too, and it's just, I don't really know. I think Yildiz is safe for minutes. I don't think Houston is safe for minutes whatsoever. But Yildiz, I can see being a switch up to Fede as that second striker or whatever. But then you're still going to have Keane and Milik mixing it up. And when you got Vlahovic, Keane, and Milik for one spot out of the top two, doesn't really make sense either. So,
but would they play Keane in that case a spot at any point, do you think? Or Meretti maybe if he ends up staying? Like I don't know.
It's a lot of question marks. We got to wait for that final roster.
Yeah,
could go a couple different ways. We'll see what happens, but everybody's jacked up on Yildiz. That assist in training was sick the other day. We saw that, and then we saw Fagioli making some nice spin there, working his way out of traffic. Let's hope for more of that from Fagioli today. Hope he has an absolute game. Like I said, for me to watch today is going to be that right side, Fagioli and the newcomer, Timothy Weah. All right, as it's going to go to the gym and enjoy me in the watch along. I hope to see you all in the live watch along. All right, drop a like on your way out. Enjoy yourselves. In a couple hours, it's going to be game time and then time to rock. All right, I'll be on probably about 20 to 15 minutes before kickoff so we can really get amped up. All right, Joey, Lucci, been an absolute pleasure as always, everybody. Of course, fino alla fine. Forza Juve. Let's go kick Bologna's ass today, all right? But first, coffee, morning, family time, and then we'll rock the watch along, all right? Ciao tutti. Talk soon.